Nelly, I have been looking forward to this first look for the past month now, and I finally got her in my hands. And this is called the Flawless 26650 mod. She holds a single 26650 battery, nice and compact, ergonomic, feels great in the hand. And what you're paying for is you're paying for a smaller mod, compact, with a bigger battery that gives you better battery life. That's what this thing is. And it vapes up to 100 watts, comes in different color options. Kind of reminds me of the IPVD2 as far as the finish and the way this thing looks and feels a little bit. It's bigger, but you get more wattage and you get more battery life. And it's also about half the size of most other dual 18650 mods out there. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is dive down, show you this thing up close and personal. We'll come back, I'll vape on her a little bit, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. You dig? Alrighty, so here's the packaging for this Flawless 26650 box mod. Pop the lid, and inside the first thing you are going to see is a specs manual, and then underneath that we got our 26650 and a USB cable. And the USB cable is for charging and upgradable firmware. So here's an up close look at this Flawless 26650. This is the white version, as you guys can see, and like I said, this is just a first look. I'm not going through all the details. I've only been using this thing for not even a day, man. Not even a freaking day. But here she is. You got your fire button up top, your wattage up, wattage down buttons, all one button, your USB port, and obviously here's the menu screen, which we'll get into. Up top you got your 510 connection, spring-loaded 510 pin, spring-loaded. So yeah, as we zoom out, we see these seams right here on both sides. That's the back panel, and the back panel slides off, and underneath that fits a 26650 battery. That's right, and that's huge in my opinion, man, because it drops the size of the mod, and you get the battery life. So yeah, this thing slides off, and the way to do it, let me show you. I turn it upside down, I grab it just like that, and I slide it up. And the reason why I do it like this is because these edges are sharp, man. These things right here, you'll cut yourself. Flawless, if you're watching your second batch, make these edges a little bit smoother. But if you do it like this, you won't have any issues. Let me show you again. Pop it back in. That's how I do it every time to get this battery panel off. And once it slides up, you can pull it off. And I tell you what, I gotta say, it's a little janky. And the reason why it is because it only has one ball bearing. One ball bearing down here, no ball bearing up here. It needs another ball bearing. But the good news is, once this thing is on, this battery panel, it ain't going anywhere. No rattle, no nothing. Still, look at it. It's already taken the paint off. Most battery doors do that for different mods, but still, it's gotta be mentioned. So here's the battery tray. Negative down here, positive up here. Clean battery tray. And here's the 26650 battery that I've been using, and I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of these MRANs, not the MRAN 26650s. And the reason is because I can't fire below 2.9 volts. I can't tell if it's the battery or the mod, but all I can say is I've used MXJOs, 26650s, I haven't had any issues. With this, if it goes 2.98, it doesn't fire. It says check battery. Gonna go ahead and pop this sucker in there. I gotta say though, with these batteries, these MRAN batteries, it fits tight. Tight fit. So you want the smooth edge of this battery door cover to slide on first. And I gotta say, there's no gaps. I mean, it's not seamless, but it looks tight. It looks spiffy. Clean, clean, clean. Alright, so here's a size comparison between this Flawless 26650 and this Twisted Mess's 150 watt box mod. Even though this has 50 more watts, look how much bigger this is. This is a dual 18650. This is a single 26650. This is your average size box mod. I mean, maybe it's slightly larger, but definitely more of your average size. Feels good in the old hand, but this feels more compact. And I'll tell you, this feels, it feels heavier than this. This is hefty, hefty, hefty. It's not a light mod. But yeah, that's a size comparison. So yeah, the fire button's nice and clicky. Wattage up, wattage down button's nice and clicky, or button should I say. And again, there's your USB port. So in order to turn this device on, all you gotta do is hit the fire button 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First thing you're gonna see is Flawless. Hit the fire button again, check atomizer because nothing's on here. And then what you're gonna see is the menu screen, the wattage, the voltage, the resistance, and the battery gauge. Now to get to more in-depth settings, you hit the fire button 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could switch between power and joules. And you use the wattage up, wattage down buttons, or button. We're gonna keep it in power, hit the fire button, exit. Okay, so we've exited back into the menu screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can turn her off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's go ahead and switch to joules. Hit the fire button, Celsius, or Fahrenheit. We're gonna go Fahrenheit, hit the fire button. You can choose between 212 degrees and 572 degrees. Adjust up. And then you can obviously scroll back down. You can choose between 100 degrees Celsius and 300 degrees Celsius. Scroll up. You can choose between nickel or titanium. We're gonna keep it nickel, hit the fire button, and then exit. Oh yeah, and it goes to max 50 joules. So from 10 to 50 joules. So in the main menu screen, you can adjust the joules in temperature mode, or the wattage if you're in wattage mode. But if you're in temperature mode, you cannot adjust the temperature in the main menu screen. You got to go back into the in-depth settings, which is 5 more clicks of the button, as I showed you guys. Oh, she looks good, boy. She looks good with the 22mm tank on there. Right now, she's reading 0.16, nickel coil head. I'm going to go ahead and lock it. Lock the resistance, hold down this button. So she's locked. Fire her up. Oh yeah. Alright, so I popped an RDA on here. I've got a regular 0.3 ohm dual 24 gauge Canthal build, and right now it says 100 watts. Now I don't want to vapor at 100 watts, I want to drop her. So in order to do that, you just got to press the wattage down button. So that right there, boys and girls, the first look at this flawless 26650 mod. Let's go ahead and take her back to FaceTime. Alright, so the RDA I have sitting on here is the Stellare V4. I got a 0.3 ohm dual 24 gauge build in here, and I'm vaping her at 45 watts. That's it, 45 watts, which is 3.81 volts. Here we go. So you know what I did was I took her up to 60 watts, 60 freaking watts for this build, and it's going to be kind of pushing my limits, but I'm going to show you what she can do. Oh man, that's starting to get a little hot for my taste, but still, flavor is a popping. Obviously, that depends on the device you have on here, the RDA, the tank, etc. But what I love about this, in the day that I've been using it, the full day, I charged it yesterday, and it's not even freaking halfway done. Not halfway done. I've been vaping on it for a day, mostly between 45 and 55 watts. And that's with this RDA on here with the 0.3 ohm build. Oh man, that is my first look at this 26650, this flawless 26650. Gotta put her through its paces. I need like a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a month, man. I gotta just, I gotta tear her down. I gotta vape on her and vape on her and vape on her. You can't just vape it for a day and then come back and say, oh yeah, or oh no. No way, that's not how things work. I gotta put her through the ringer, boys and girls. Gotta put her through the ringer, but I definitely will come back, whether it's a little snippet in another video. I'll let you know if I lost this sucker today, I will go out tomorrow and buy it. Sound good? This is Rip Chippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.